Hey, everyone. Hey. Now, today is the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show. It's Sunday. I know it's been a minute since I've been here on a Sunday. But before we even begin that, can I share a story with you? Because it's time for me to what? Flip the script. It's time for me to plot twist. So I'm going to do something a little different today. So when I was growing up, and yes, I'm so glad you all are here. Type comments in the comments. Let me know who you are, where you're coming from, or your author, your speaker, your entrepreneur. But let me start off with a little story. There once was a little girl, and that little girl had sisters, and that little girl had these big dreams. That little girl would look outside her window and wonder what it would feel like to be the center of attention. That little girl wondered what it would be like to stand on stage and speak and get standing ovations. That little girl would sit and watch the boys in the neighborhood and listen to what they talked about. That little girl, I don't know how old she was. She used to stare at this guy across the street, and he had brothers. And one day, she thought that they, would start, I don't know, a kiddie relationship, right? And one day that boy ran up and kissed her sister on the lips. And it was one of those defining moments in a child's life. That little girl swallowed her anger and her rage. That little girl said she'd never be beautiful enough. And yet inside her burned something, a star that no one else could see but her. And that little girl started writing stories. That little girl hung out with the misfits. That little girl would have to wash the clothes of her family with Purex and grew to dislike the smell of Purex and going to laundromats. That little girl looked around and thought that her life would be all poverty and never having love and never having attention. But still in her heart, she just thought there's got to be something that's going to change this. So if the boys don't like me, I'm too ugly, too this and that. If I'm writing stories and hanging with the so-called misfits, and we're creating these dynamic, like things we call scenarios. That little girl went to Long Middle School in St. Louis, Missouri, and she met her best friend. But she also met 4 boys who looked nothing like her in terms of skin color, gender, and everything. And as they were all misfits, they all started to hang together. And that little girl took a liking to one of them, in that puppy dog way. And one day the boy didn't come back to school. And that was her reason for going to school, was to speak with him and to laugh and joke with the other boys. And the little girl thought her life was over. So one day she went walking and walking and walking out of her neighborhood into someone else's neighborhood, into some other neighborhoods. But she was determined to go find him. She was determined to find this boy. And one day she did. And as she stood across the street and back, she just stared at him. And stared. And stared. And she kept walking back. Every week she made it her mission to walk and just stare at him. She said, one day, I'm going to step to him. I'm going to let him know what time it is. Well, time passed and the boy never came back to school. And she never got to speak to him. But she always remembered staring from afar and looking. and looking, seeing what she wanted and never going after it. Her family moved to another part of the city. She found herself in another in a different school district. And who did she wind up hanging with? 4 boys who looked nothing like her, no same gender, nothing. Misfits. And they started writing stories together. And it was fun and it was exciting. And she took a liking to one of them. And they had the same initials as the first boy in a different part of the city, different school district. And one day he came up missing. I think she later learned he was expelled, but she went looking for him and she finally found him. She stand out on that and from afar and watch him. She said, "I'm gonna see you again. I'm gonna step to you." Well, time passed. That little girl went to go live with some other family members. But she never got to tell the first 2 boys how much she really liked them and how they made her feel in their presence. She didn't go after what she wanted. And that could be good or bad. But over time, that little girl turned from an ugly duckling into a swan. So-called swan. And then boys started to approach her. And then opportunities came and she seized them. But in relationships, she never really went after what she wanted. And so, she dated her first boyfriend, and that was cool until it wasn't. And she dated someone else. That was cool until it wasn't. And then she dated a boy from her high school years later. And then that was cool until it wasn't. And it wasn't until she put an ad on a dating site that she met someone that changed her life for real. And she kind of went after him because he met that. And they had a great relationship until it wasn't. And in that relationship, there were so many things that were so telling about that relationship. You can go after something and only go half-hearted, and that's what it was because I was afraid of being rejected. That little girl, of course, y'all know was me. And it made me think back, for the last couple of days, I've been quiet. It's been the holidays, and I hope y'all all had happy holidays. But one of the things that made me laugh is this memory kept coming up of me walking to go after what I want, yet being too afraid to voice what it was, to say that I like you. There's something kind of hot about you, something kind of special. I feel something when we're together. And different race, different everything. And I felt like, why is God bringing me back to that? And then I noticed that, as the news goes on, you've had Black Friday, you've had all like constant about the pandemic, inflation, recession, low sales, all these sort of things. And I thought, what is scarier than that? And I want y'all can come through. I want y'all to actually come through. What is scarier than the pandemic, inflation, and a recession? What's scarier than that? And I have some ideas. But I want to share that story with you because as I'm entering a different stage of my journey, as I embark on something that is exhilarating, scary, I want to like snatch my own edges and clutch my own pearls. There are some things that I wanted to share with you, and I actually wanted to hear from y'all too. And I'm wondering with StreamYard if there's something different because things are moving a little bit differently. But no matter, I wanted to have this conversation, especially on this Sunday. It's the Sunday after Thanksgiving. It's the Sunday where, a lot of people are probably at home. They're probably not out at Black Friday sales. But what's scarier than all of those things? What's scarier than the pandemic, inflation, or recession? And I think that God put those memories in my mind of when I was going after someone I wanted, and I stopped before saying it. I stopped before letting them know I'm willing to go to find you. And with news of the never-ending pandemic, inflation, recession, businesses going under, tech companies that are handing out pink slips. I have to remind myself that all is not lost. There's a song by the group Phoenix. It's called, I think it's If I Ever Feel Better. And I remember when Old Boy died. That was one of the songs I kept listening to, If I Ever Feel Better. And he said, they say an end can be a star. Feels like I'm buried, yet I'm still alive. It feels like a bad day that never ends. I feel the chaos around me. And I was just like, sometimes an end can be a start. So even while I was dating this particular person, I was too afraid to say what I really felt. And so I would write about it. And he would write things and we would write back to each other. And I felt, why is it it's easier for me to write about my feelings than to ever just say it? And that's when I realized there's certain things scarier than what you see on social media, what you see in the news. And so I'm going to share some of them with you and we can do a deep dive. But I really want to ask you, if you're listening right now, what's scarier than that? And please give your name. If you have a company, share that. And if you're an entrepreneur, author, or speaker, share that. And that's how I wanted to open up the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show today. Because this episode, I want to deal with real fears, worries, and doubts. Because I think that that's even scarier than the things you're hearing about. I think it's scarier to go after what it is you want. And we'll placate and say, oh, it's the money. That's why you can't do it. We'll say, oh, it's because of this. And I want to share with you. And I want y'all to share with me. What are y'all feeling? And as you come on and as you give your thoughts, share them with me. Because I really want to hear it. And the reason why is because I remember going after these big dreams in business and having to tell others, pitch, please. Yeah, I know I said pitch, please. Pitch, please. But why did I say that? Because when I found what my zone of genius was, when I allowed myself to step out of what everybody else wanted me to do, when I decided I really am the killer pitch master, I really am the pitch queen, and I'm going to show how to do it. Even if you don't have all the money in the world, which most people don't, even if you don't have support of your family and friends, even if all seems lost, pitch please, hashtag pitch please. And sometimes you're going to say 3 times, pitch please, pitch please, pitch please. So let me share with you what I find to be scarier than the pandemic. 1, not going after what you want. You're going after what everybody else wants. And so, of course, the news is scary. Of course, all of this is craziness. Number 2, not vocalizing what you really need to move forward. Number 3, not reaching out for help or guidance. Letting things fester on in your mind and telling yourself no one's wanting to help, but not asking for it. Number 4, not believing that the best is really yet to come. Number 5, thinking that your time is up. You see on the news, the only people making are these young people, and they're doing it without all the things that society required of you. So you think it can't be done. Number 6, believing that everyone is smarter than you. And that's why things come so easily to them. Number 7, believing the lies of social media that everybody else is popping but you. Lies. Number 8, not believing in your creativity. Not believing that you truly have what it takes in your own arsenal, in your own armor to move mountains. Number 9, not getting into the right spaces and places where you shine. And number 10, not reflecting on your journey. Seeing where you are and not even looking back how far you've come. To me, all of those are scarier than the pandemic, the inflation, and recession combined. Sometimes I think when I look out, it does feel like everything is wrong and everything isn't happening. And I think when the pandemic happened, I called it the Great Reset because some of us really started to realize that we were playing in the wrong sandboxes. We were hanging around the wrong people. We were pursuing the wrong version of success for us. And I truly feel that that's worse than whatever the pandemic, the inflation, and recession really is. Because if you focus on what the world tells you is the worst, then you won't look inside of you or ask your higher power, what's the lesson in this? Is there something you've been put on the back burner? Is there something you've been watching everybody else do and you think you have a better way? And so I want y'all to ponder on that. And so for those of you who are new to the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show, we're usually on Sundays. And I am Precious Williams, your proud host. I am a 13-time national elevator pitch champion. I'm a 4-time #1 best-selling author of the Bad Bitches and Power Pitches for Women Entrepreneurs and Speakers Only series. I am a Fortune 500 top corporate sales trainer. I'm an international professional speaker and resident badass. As a killer pitchmaster, aka the pitch queen. It was in my late 30s that I realized that I am not a motivational speaker. I am not a coach. I'm the killer pitchmaster. And my gift to the world is showing them how to slay all competition with a killer pitch. Whether that's your elevator pitch, your media pitch, your investor pitch, your sales pitch, your speaker pitch, or your interview pitch. And when I say I stand on who I am and I stand on my talent, I mean what I say. I remember back in the day when people said there's no way people care about pitching. You still feel that way? And that's the gift and the curse of being a trailblazer. You see things before everybody else does. And so because things haven't come to fruition, they're saying that it will never. And you're like, but it will. So let me see what some of y'all were saying in the comments. Andrea Henderson, I'm glad you're here. Rejection and failure scare. You better talk about it, Andrea. Talk about it, and let us know who you are. And then John, failure and loneliness. John Spencer Travel. Ooh, y'all were dropping that hot fire. And I guess when you spend time alone or when you allow the Holy Spirit and God to do what he's going to do, you start hearing things you've never heard. It's like I decided to play bigger. And even in that moment, like I still feel scared. It is not the pandemic, inflation, or recession. That's not even what I'm scared of. I think there's a poem where a woman says, it's not our darkness, but our light. Like if you really shined bright, what? Take off all blinders. Take off what everybody says is possible and do it. My God. Then you're not watching celebrity news all the time. You're not looking at everything that everybody else is doing. You're actually giving yourself permission to be focused on your focus for the right people, the right audience, the right playground. And so I say to all of you, usually, on Black Friday, I used to not even trip because I never went to Walmart because I was like, I don't even want a TV. I don't even want stuff that I know is sold in stores. I don't even want it. And a couple of like for the last couple of years, we've had a Black Friday special. Because usually I wouldn't participate. I was like, I don't, you've been working hard and stuff like that. And one of the things that came to me, especially this year, was that as the world has changed, so have I. As the world has changed, and as I have changed, and as I've grown and gone and gotten on the stages I've always wanted to go on, as I have moved in spaces that I never thought possible, I started to say, especially I was at the Idea Collective retreat in 2022, and my topic was on pitch please, right? And as I ended my speech, I said they had to say pitch please 3 times. So somebody ever says something to you, pitch please, pitch please, pitch please. It inspired my Black Friday special because I know that there's things changing. So Perfect Pitches by Precious, as you all know it, is about to be over. And we're about to introduce the new version, our new way of being so responsive to the audience that loves us so much. And for years, I was afraid. But as I turn into the next version, there's some things that we did that were so incredible. So with our trainings, I wanted people to have the last time at it because they're sunset. I also felt like people always wanted to have time with me to ask me real questions about pitching, which is unfiltered, which is the real deal Holyfield, which is private, where you can ask me the true tea. Like, do you need to be in this group or that group? Is pitching just about being yourself? Or even the craziest questions you may think of, I want you to ask me. And you have an hour to an hour and a half to ask me hardcore questions about pitching and sales. Like, what led me to trust that pitching was the new frontier? Or what are you wanting to give birth to and you're afraid to say it out loud? You can say it to me. And I want you to have the attitude of pitch, please, for anyone and anything that's blocking you. And so my Black Friday special is below. And even if you go to my website, www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com / Black Friday. I'm looking too. Wait, I got to look too. Black-Friday-special. You'll have access to that. So you have over 4 hours of training content from me, from pitching with confidence to all sorts. And I can't think of it all off the top of my head because it's 4 hours in different video trainings. And then also having a Q&A session with me. And also going into the next version of what we're about to unleash, our training academy. And just being a part of something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And knowing, I felt like Nicki Minaj. When you hear me say it, you know I wrote it. I did that. When you hear me talking about pitching and creating my programs, I wrote that. And it's because of the things I've learned. So in offering my Pitch Please Ultimate Sales Bundle, which is our Black Friday special, I want you to think about it. I got an email, a message in Facebook this week. And I'm going to tell you why all of this ties into the story I told you when I started about the young girl who always got close to going for what she wanted and stopped. And now that I'm older, I'm going hard in the paint because I want what I want. And it has nothing to do with what everybody else is doing. And that's scarier than the recession, the inflation, and everything. But I got a message. I'm not going to put my queen on blast unless she wants to front herself out and tell you who she is. So this queen and I have known each other for years. She's worked with me. She's bought my books. She's been doing big things. And I got this message. It was 2 messages. But one where she was just just saying great things to me about how I bless so many people who will never tell me. how I've impacted so many people by living my life authentically, by showing that you don't have to be perfect to go after what it is you want. And also how to pitch with ease and with confidence and to go to the right playgrounds where they're paying you. You're not competing against everybody else. And being able to pinpoint the industries you need to be in or the type of individuals, and not just saying high net worth or high dollar, like, that's cute. That still doesn't define the market for you. Or the right type of people, organizations, places, companies, corporations, foundations, nonprofits you need to be in. And getting down to it. So she was going in and she was just like, for all the people that never tell you, she said, I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, there are millions that watch you. There are thousands that pay attention to what you do. It's not about the likes and the comments, she said, because people won't tell you. She said, but she pitched to an investor for $1.5 million. And they said, yes. What? And I'm reading it because I'm like, I get great testimonials a lot. And it wasn't the dollar amount, because I told you my clients pitch for millions. They win pitch competitions. It was before she told me what her success was. She wanted me to know that she did all of this behind the scenes without ever saying anything to me. But it's what she learned and what I was doing that resonated with her. She had a pitch please attitude. She'd been in her zone of genius for 25 years and finally decided it's time to pitch for big dollars and cents. And she did it and got it. And they said, I don't know if I'm going to take it or not. Who says that? Someone who is so assured, someone who knows what they want and know they can do even better. She said, pitch please. And so that's why I want you to think about this. What's scarier than the recession, inflation, or the pandemic? It's allowing yourself to truly believe that you can't have what you want, or that there isn't a process. There is. And along this process is growing pains. And I'm speaking to you and me, because there's sometimes I'm thinking, oh, well, why isn't this working out? Or why isn't these invoices being paid fast enough? Or why isn't this? And God will have the way of just saying everything in time. The teacher hasn't, you're not ready for this. But when you're ready, it's here. I'm watching my clients win competition after competition, getting into the most prestigious accelerators, and watching them, host live events, watching them and just sitting here like, I remember when you didn't believe in yourself. So when I say to all of you, fear, worry, and doubt are much darker killers than the recession, inflation, and the pandemic. Believing that everyone's doing better than you is a lie. Believing that their version of success should be your version is a lie. And so I wanted to offer you that today with my Pitch Please Ultimate Sales bundle. Because even I realize it's time to go higher. But there are people who still need to know that it wasn't easy getting here for me or for my clients. It's not easy when you meet with sales teams and they have no motivation and they're watching the news. So I'm changing their mindsets to get them ready to go into a real battle, to outwit, to outplay, and outlast the competition. And to understand your greatest battle is in your mind. It's not what's on the television screen. It isn't with the client or customer. It's the battle of the mind. Or as she's a dope Christian pastor. What is her name? The battlefield of the mind. But I want you all to know this. What's scarier is partly going after what you want, not asking for what you want, and believing everyone else is better than you. So I want you to think about that and share with me your thoughts, because it's real. Y'all look at my gray hair. Okay. So Andrea says, I have a cousin named Precious. Yes. Diana says, Joyce Meyer, you better believe it. Thank you, Diana. I appreciate that. And so if you are new here, again, this is the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show. What I'd love to do is take the mask off and share with you all how to pitch your way to greatness. I'm telling you, I've done 2 TED Talks, 2 successful TED Talks. I, thought that pitching was just good to get those coins, but not realizing there's so much more. When you finally understand who you are as a pitch person, when you finally understand how to get in the spaces and the places, when you can honestly have people referring you out for opportunities, that is what is a part of the Pitch Please Ultimate Sales Bundle. Because a lot of this you will not know how to do on your own. You will have people that can teach you about, different aspects of getting your companies together. But if you cannot pitch it yourself, if people going to your website is still not clear, if your target market does not understand what it is you do that is specific for them, you've wasted time. It doesn't matter how beautiful the logo, the website. No. Every time I step on stage, I am so grateful because it usually comes as a referral. Some people are throwing my name out there in bigger and bigger spaces. Like, I can't believe I'm speaking at LinkedIn on December 1st. I'm so excited about that. But we've had an ongoing relationship for years, teaching their interns, teaching different sales teams as a new item is coming available. Then I'm speaking at Rutgers School of Law. That is my law school that I graduated from in 2007. Y'all, I got kicked out of Georgetown University Law Center in 2002. Started at Rutgers in 2003, had a nervous breakdown in 2004, and still managed in my last semester to show the world why I am a litigator and won all my cases. Went on to pass the bar on my first try. Worked at prestigious law firms, clerk for federal judge in the Southern District, and I still went at 2.9. That makes no sense. But when you have the gift of speech and the gift of connection and the ability to outwit, outplay, and outlast those who may have more money, more connections, more media, and all of that, that is my gift to the world. Because as you're sitting here and you're seeing people with Black Friday specials and they're all selling out, I want you to know that your Black Friday can be every day. It can be in abundance. And as anything in business, you're going to have your highs and your lows and the lows and whatever. But that's part of it. That's why it's so fun and scary and roller coaster. But I want you all to know there is nothing that is impossible or out of reach. And I'm saying it to you and to me. Because sometimes I'll be having these moments and then I'll get these testimonials and then I'll be like, you know what? People are still inviting me. Like, I have bookings into 2024. It's 2022. I'm speaking at EBW's 2020 ESG event on December 6th. Why is that important for y'all to know? Because no matter what, my gift of speech has opened up doors for me and for others. And I was doing it when I had not a front tooth in my mouth. I was doing it when hair was falling out. I was doing it because this is what I was born to do. And I want to show y'all how to slay all competition no matter what. I don't care who you're going up against. You could be 43-year-olds like me, no Brazilian butt lift, no six-pack ass, but I want you to kill it. And walk in the room like you own it. So that's why I say pitch please on everything that people have ever said about me. Pitch please. All right. Even if it takes me longer. Even if I get there faster. God put a spirit in me that won't allow me to do what everybody else does. And you don't have to either. And maybe you have a new idea. Maybe you have a fresher take on something. Maybe you want to know how to attract a particular audience or a particular person who you know is going to break things wide open. Check it out. And so I hope you all, and if you all have questions, drop them in the comments. Andrew, got a cousin named Precious. I love it. Well, I have a cousin named Precious. My grandmother's name was Precious and everything. But I just want you all to know, if you have a question, ask. For real. I'm not one of those that ducks and dodges. The end of the year for me is usually kind of crazy because I truly, truly, truly do not enjoy the holidays, right? I am someone who stresses out about a lot of things when it comes to the holidays, just because it's very, very hard. But in the end, I pray that what you all see is real and that I don't have to play with anybody. So Andrea says, do I work with people one-on-one? Yes, I do, Andrea. And just so you know, here is my website for you to check that out, Queen. So my website is www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. And you can go to my work with me page. You can see my one-on-one pitch training. You see my speaker development services. And also, for those of you who do not know, I've created a free pitch quiz, because if you're struggling with how to pitch yourself, or what are the holes in your pitches? What holes? Please take my free quiz at pitchingforprofit.com. You'd be amazed when someone hits master level or even higher, how they're able to hear a pitch and know exactly what's wrong, or they can pinpoint why it's not connecting and converting. So, Andrew, I hope I answered your question. But yeah, so sorry, y'all. I knew you're gonna be all over the place. All over the place. Hold on, keep it real. Okay, so let me do this. Okay, let me do this. Hold on. Make sure I did that. Okay. So yes, and so another thing that I'm grateful for and I'm appreciative of, being consistent and persistent. I've heard many no's in my lifetime. I've heard many no's in my lifetime. And at the end of the day, I kept going because there was always someone else who needed to hear me. So when I'm on these great podcasts, or I'm on Sirius XM for different things, or big companies are buying my books in bulk, please believe I'm appreciative and grateful for all of it, because none of it was guaranteed. And it took going against the grain and not doing what everybody else was doing. It also took me saying I'm kicking ass regardless to whoever or whatever comes. It took me saying no to things that sounded really great, but it didn't resonate with my spirit, which is very difficult. I remember when I was shooting this new show called America's Real Deal, and I looked at the contestants who are all vying for a big prize and all these great things. I almost gave up on my dream of being on a television show. And it circled back. I thought about all the mistakes I'd made, and I'm still here. So if you have any questions, everybody, I won't keep you. But I just want to definitely share that with you and just say, what's scarier than all of that is you believing that it's over. You believing that if you are a certain age, that no one's going to listen to you. Sometimes you just got to create the opportunities and move in that. Or sometimes you got to make sure you're heard and become visible. Sometimes it takes being in the right room. So being at Harris Stowe State University, then going to the Idea Collective under the great tutelage of Pat Miller, going to the Ascent Conference with Fred Rockwell, and every company there to have $20 million in revenue or higher. And I was speaking. And then going to Podcasters Rock was under Sonia Keefe in Virginia. And all of those were different audiences, and I loved them all. But that's how diverse. Going into LinkedIn's, the Googles, and the Microsofts, and the Federal Reserve Banks, and the Intuit QuickBooks, and the Sirius XMs, and the Yelps, like someone speaking my name in spaces. Let me show you how to get them to speak your name in spaces. Don't allow social media and the news to tell you what's possible. There are miracles happening every day when people walk in alignment with who they are and what they want to show. So I don't show perfection. I show everything behind the scenes. As y'all can peep, gray hair. Y'all now, come on. And I'm not afraid. Yes, this is me with strawberry blonde. It was cute. It was cute. It was about. Maybe I will get back there. But the truth of the matter is, you all are worth it. You all matter. You all count. So if you don't know how to answer the question, is like Dr. Kelly always says, what do you want? What do you really want your life to look like? Take away what everybody else is saying. The flow saying, nah, what do you want? My Queen Ty Goodwin, she said, I'm a digital nomad. I'm just going to be all over the place. I'm not living nowhere. I'm going everywhere I want to go. What do you want? And I want my agency to be the number one pitch training company in the world and show you how it's done, even if you're supposedly too fat, too black, and don't have an Ivy League degree. Even if you don't have a Brazilian butt, lip, or six-pack abs. Even if you don't look like the Hollywood version of what beauty supposedly looks like. Even if everyone tells you you're not pretty enough, tall enough, all of that. Take every perceived flaw and make it your secret weapon. So pitch, please. Let me see what this last comment is. And if you have any comments, y'all just keep dropping them in the comment. Diana, Anita today. No, thank you, Queen, for being here. And if you know someone who needs to watch this, just put their name in the comments and share with them why it was important for you to watch. Like, why did y'all come today? I gave it another couple of minutes, but why would y'all come to this today? What did you hope you would hear? What did you hope that you would hear? Because in the end, there's a reason why you're here. Did you get what you needed? Is there something you need to face today and walk through it? Is there someone you need to reach out to? Is there something you need to pick up? Do it. And just to remind you, if you want to know what's wrong with your pitches or what you should do to improve upon them, please take my free quiz at pitching, pitchingforprofit.com, pitchingforprofit.com. That's one. Two, if you want to know my website, we can check out some of the things that I'm doing, the events that I have, the live events, all of that. Check that out on my website, www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com, which is changing, but y'all still got time. If you want to work one-on-one with me or in groups, or if you want to book me to speak or to train for your organization, company, corporation, foundation, or nonprofit, please reach out to me on my website. And there is a section where you can tell me what it is that you are looking for. And my agent and I will reach out to you. And then finally, if you want to do something you've never done, if you want to learn from someone who came from nothing, hit rock bottom multiple times, and still bounce back to have a name in her own lane in the industry. Yes, I'm a former attorney. Yes, I graduated from Spelman College in 2001, Rutgers School of Law in 2007. But it was pitching. And killer pitching in all forms that took me from just being a success story for myself to training over 300 pitch champions, to working with the biggest companies in the world, especially their sales teams in technology and in financial services, being on the biggest stages where my message could be amplified. And for people to not say, oh, you need to look, sound, and act like this. And they're like, come through. You have blue hair, come through. You have pink hair, come through. Because I own this. So anyway, let me just see what the last thing is. John, you are a great pitch master. Thank you, John. And again, if y'all have any questions, please leave them in the chat. I'm not going to keep you. I know we're at 44 minutes. And I thought I was going to do 30. But again, thank you, Andrea, for being here. Thank you, John, for being here. Thank you, Diana, for being here. And I'm sure there are others who will come later. But again, if you want to know what Scarier is, not going after what it is you want right now, whether you had a Black Friday special or not. Sales is the lifeblood of your business. And if it's flatlined, if it's kind of like in dribs and drabs, you owe it to yourself to pitch, please, and go and get what you need. Again, my Pitch Please Black Friday special includes 4 hours of different video trainings on all aspects of pitching. And then you get a 1 to 1.5 hour session with me to ask me any question that you are dying to ask me about pitching and sales. I didn't get here by myself. I haven't won the awards or been on the biggest stages or have had best-selling books or any of that just by sitting still. It's because I amplified the message that you can have what you want. When you actually define what it is that you want, you go after what you want with so much focus. I don't care about the man or the woman who didn't want you. I don't care about the family and friends that won't support you. People start coming around when success happens. So success changes everything. And what? We slay all competition with a killer pitch. So check out my Black Friday special at perfectpitchesbyprecious.com/black dash Friday dash special. And I look forward to talking to you all again. You all have been wonderful. And if this resonated with you, type people's names in the comments and tell them that they need to watch this. Why? Tell them why. And it has been an honor. I am your host, Precious Williams, of the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show, where we take the mask off and we go real. We go thuggy, we go real. No fluff, no BS when it comes to all forms of pitching, elevator, media, investor, sales, speaker, and interview pitches. And also how what's happening in pop culture, what's happening in life all impacts your business. So how do you utilize that to do what it is that you do? And I am blessed to have the type of clients and customers that will come back years later because you helped me $1.5 million. Oh, because I got this television show. Oh, because of this, my book that I'm so appreciative because I don't do it for clout. I do it to prove that who you are matters. You're special. You don't have to look at the Hollywood version of beauty. You can be yourself and have people coming for you, baiting, attracting, and closing with these. I love you all. You all have been wonderful. I think there's one last comment. Andrea, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, Queen. So you all, Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show. Hopefully we'll be back next Sunday, but let's go. Love you all. Bye.